Hi, I'm Sanjeev, GCC Ops Leader.
Hello, I'm Runa Dhawan, the People Lead, AB and Bev. We welcome you all to the first episode of Season 2 of I Wish My Boss Told Me That.
Yeah, and in this episode, I'm super happy to introduce you to Gabriel, the Global Leader of Operations. He's here visiting us for a couple of days. And it's also performance appraisal time, so I thought let me put him in the spotlight and win some brownie points as well. Welcome, Gabriel.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for having me here. Super happy to be with both of you, Sanjeev and Runa. And we're going to, of course, have fun and have a good conversation.
So we have a great agenda planned for you, Gabriel. But before we get into the business side of things, let's learn who Gabriel is. Tell us about yourself outside of work.
Wow, deep question. So, look, I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I was raised in an academic family there. My parents, they are professor of physics. And I was raised very close to the beach. So I have this dichotomy between being someone that always liked to be outside, but always in a very serious academic family. And, it's international. I think most of my family as well had the experience to live abroad. But I think throughout the conversation, we're going to know each other a little bit better, I'm sure. But I think that's basically my background.
Yeah, and Gabriel, you've also been with ABI for 20 years now. Wow, that's a lot. And the world's changed. ABI has also probably changed, right? So tell us something about how ABI was when you first joined and how you feel now.
That's great. Great point. I mean, looking back, I'm 20 years in the organization, so I think you always did do this, I would say, therapy thinking, looking back. And I think the feeling is that I'm very fortunate. I think AB, when I joined Ambev at the time in Brazil, it was this new company after an acquisition of two breweries there in Brazil. And it was basically a Brazilian organization with a very good performance. So I was part of the beginning of that journey. And I think to be fair, when I look back these 20 years, I'm very proud of the way we were able to grow the organization and bring a lot of the culture and the principles of that, I would say at the time, small organization to become the leading, beer organizational beverage company in the world. So a lot have happened, but I think one thing that remained was the culture of the organization. But of course, as we went international, that brought a lot of new cultures. I mean, India and other cultures around the world, and enriched this organization that I was part when it was still very small. So a lot of things have happened. I think the culture as something that is part of the DNA, but we were incorporating all the new, learnings from different markets, mature, developing markets, and I think we have been improving a lot the way we operate. So 20 years is a long time.
It is.
Where along the way did you start Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it. We all have passions. I mean, back in Brazil, I was very fortunate when my school, by coincidence, the school that I was 7 years old, and the school by chance had a judo gym, and the professor of that gym became one of the Brazilian coaches for the Olympics. So I had the chance to have a very high level judo training. So I practiced judo since I'm 5 until I was 20, and I used to compete as well. So I was very passionate about judo. But that, as I became old, I moved to jiu-jitsu, which is a bit more light on the body. But what I really like about martial arts, it translates a lot of our world in ABI as well, is problem solving, right? Is the ability for you to be calm in difficult situations. And I think this struggle for you to overcome adversity in the martial arts, something that resonates a lot with what we do in ABI. So that's why I'm very passionate about it, and I think it translates a lot what we do. Yeah, but I'm not a champion anymore. I'd say I'm an old dog without teeth anymore. But I like to have fun.
No, but that's amazing. Very inspiring.
Yeah, but we're going to get into the business end of the discussion. So for many years, digital transformation was the buzzword, automation is the buzzword.
Yeah.
But now when we look at operations in ABI, smart operations is the buzzword, a word that you have coined. It's a vision that you've created. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit more about smart operations?
Yeah, first we created, right? I think this group here, and you were one of the I think the leaders that help to build that vision. I think all in all, what is happening is you ask about how the organization have been, changing over these years, and technology really came to transform or help us to transform the organization, and is enabling us to have certain capabilities that we never had before. And I think what is happening with the digitalization is that the concept of the old, let's say, BPO market is changing, because everything that is the more transactional part of the business is disappearing enabled by technology, and is adding a component of intelligence, right, with machine learning and some of the algorithms that is being more available to incorporate that in the way we operate. So this combination of digitalization and new intelligence, or more sophisticated intelligence in decision making, in operation, is opening a huge door for us and rethinking the reason of exist of a shared service center, right? So I think that's creating a lot of opportunities for us, and from a people point of view, is opening as well opportunities for people for the teams to develop, grow, and open new career opportunities, right? So it's a combination of digitalization and intelligence incorporated in operations. I think that's the vision of smart operations.
Interesting.
So do you think India is going to be the hub for smart operations?
Absolutely. And I can say that I was one of the contributors for establishing this organization here in India. And back in 2013, we always had this vision to create a capability center. The first time we came here visiting India, we were really impressed with the talent pool, right? I mean, we probably have more engineers and data scientists in India being graduate or coming to the market in a year than we have the whole population of a few of the markets that we operate. And so the talent pool, it's something that is strikingly good here in India. And in terms of capabilities, that for sure is an interesting place. So for sure, India is part of the strategy of the organization in this front.
Gabriel, I'm going to go back to that point you made on smart operations, where you spoke about digitalization as well as data-driven or algo-based decision-making. Yes. How do you see in operations us moving in that direction benefits our customers or end consumers?
Yeah, I mean, being smart, I think everything starts with the pain point of our customers and consumers, right? We are here to, enable their, I would say, satisfaction, right? And by having smart operations, or by having these capabilities, algo and intelligence, that is helping us to better understand those pain points and helping us to address them in a more efficient way. So I think this for us is the concept, but we are always trying to address challenge that we have and improving our decision making. And that algorithms today, because they can hold much more variables and much more complexity than humans normally are able to handle, is giving us better capabilities in decision making. And that's addressing the pain points of customers and consumers, and of course that creates a lot of like a virtual cycle for the company, right?
Okay.
So we wanted to understand, in your view, how does this help us as a business to move towards profit center? You know, we usually known for being a cost center, but with smart operations, I'm sure that vision is changing. So help us understand that a little bit.
That's a great question. I think coming to a little bit to the point I made before, when we leverage technology with intelligence, the part of productivity, which was, I would say, the main component in the old BPO model, right? That was to drive overhead savings and productivity. Now we are looking to the broader P&L of the organization, right? We basically operate logistics, finance, people. So there's a huge domain that we are operating that touches different parts of the P&L. So by bringing intelligence in how we operate, we are addressing other lines of the P&L, and therefore that's creating value that before we were not. And that is increasing the profitability of the company. So instead of just looking to the overhead line, we're looking to much more lines in the P&L, and that is multiplying, right? We did this math, right? We have around for every initiative that we have in productivity was a 1.5 times benefit, right? When you embed the intelligence on it, we are talking about 10 times value creation. So I prefer much more 10 times than 1.5. So we are not losing the opportunity for productivity because digitalization is going to address that, but we're also incorporating the analytics part to multiply those multiples, to increase the multiples in terms of value creation.
For the purpose of our viewers, a question from them, if I can ask on their behalf, what is the combination of skills that you're looking for? Because it's not only going to be technical, it's not only going to be very specific, right? We're looking for different skills in the talent that will help us take operations smart. So what is your view?
Oh, you are helping me with that, right? I think when I say you, like, it's coming from different areas, because we are looking much more for people with different, like a more complete set, right? Before was very much skewed towards only leadership, only or expertise, and because transformation, right? We are changing the way to operate. People need to have more competencies that they had before. So, and of course, to different degrees depending on the position that they are. But we need to really upskill the different competence. So people need to have leadership, but they need to have functional knowledge. They need to understand something about digitalization, agile methodology, right? Because they are part of those squads. They need to have basic understanding about analytics. So they're going to be a much more complete leader or professional there, and that will help us to move faster. If people just work in silos and don't understand the different domains, I think the agility that we have to change is going to be very different. So, of course, with different, I would say, levels of skills, but we wanted to give now people an opportunity to have a broader spectrum of competencies. And I think the reskilling initiative that we're doing together will help us to understand exactly what those skills are and how we're going to upgrade them with the learning and development strategy. So those are very important things for us to prepare for the future that is coming. Oh, it's already now, but it's, just accelerating as we go forward.
Yeah, great opportunities.
Yeah, and I think, just continuing on that point that you were making, Gabriel, at the end of the day, even with all the digitalization and the smart ops that we're talking about, the ones behind powering that is people, right? So how important do you see our company culture playing into that as an important role in accelerating this journey?
Look, as you said, I'm completing 20 years in the organization, and I think the culture that brought us here is a culture of people who take risks, right? And I think more than ever in this world that is becoming, sometimes a bit more volatile, or changes are happening very fast, people who adapt and is open or to take risk and is flexible to adjust. I think that for me, in terms of people, right, the culture of the organization, I think, brings this element of risk-taking and willingness to change and get out of the comfortable zone. I think today a lot of companies don't, stimulate that or likes to be in their comfortable zone. And when change comes, they become a little bit lost or very slow to react. I don't think this is really part of our culture, because we are born to change. We are born to take risk, and we are constantly changing, right? With all the acquisitions we did, all the things. So I think this culture is very appropriate for people who wants to the entrepreneurs or people who like to take risks, right? And so I'm very confident that we have the right culture to deal with this world that is changing very fast. If we had a bunch of people who doesn't like to take risk, I would be very worried, but I don't think it's the case in our company.
So, Gabriel, it's been 20 years for you in ABI. It's been 4 years for me. Prior to this, I did work in another company for about 15, 16 years. So, while I don't have so much of industry experience, what I can clearly sense is this massive difference in the culture in ABI compared to any other organization. And a lot of people who don't even work at ABI, this seems to be the buzz talk about ABI. And you being here 20 years, can you help us articulate what is so unique and amazing about the culture at ABI?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of elements of the culture that I like, but the one that is really distinct over the years, and of course in our job we interact a lot with companies, we benchmark, and of course we try to get, best practice. But I never really felt as much ownership with the people that I work with in ABI that I felt anywhere else, right? And for you really to decide to embark in a journey, a long-term journey, you really need to believe that what you do is meaningful, and you really want to take it personally, and have this feeling that you own something that you're working and putting so much energy. And I think that for me is a distinctive characteristic of ABI. I never really felt that I'm talking with managers, professionals. Like when we work as owners of an organization, we challenge each other, and we always trying to put the company in the center for us, right? And the consumer and the customers on the center, and making decisions that are beyond personal agendas. That ownership, right, is something that brought us here. Even if we changed, right, and we adapt, etc., this core will be with us forever. And I think that for me is the big distinction with ABI. And that when you find people who has this mindset, right, and you have a group of people who think the same, and that really bonds, right, and having very smart people around you that have this mentality inspire us to think very big and to dream very big about the company that we want to build. And coming to the challenge that we have and talk to the future, I think this is the spirit that takes people and make people successful, right? So that's why I think the culture in ABI is really important in my heart. And that's why after 20 years, it's something that still motivated me. And the dreams that we pursue is every time bigger, right? So I think that's something to keep people alive, and that's why I love ABI.
Awesome.
Now we're coming to the most interesting segment of this. It's going to be rapid fire, Gabriel. I'm going to ask you 6 questions very, very fast. Don't think too much, just answer from the top of your mind. Are you ready?
No, but let's go. Let's go.
Okay. What's the next country on your list to visit?
Next country, Japan.
What do you like most about India?
People.
What is the advice you wish your boss told you?
Even take more risk. Like, I think take more risk.
You wish your boss had told you that? Okay. Top 3 books or movies you think everyone should read or watch?
Books. There's one book that is Behave. It's about neuroscience that opened a lot my mind about how the brain works. I'm trying to understand myself, but more than that, it helps as well for us to understand behavior. History is something that I always like. There's a Neil Ferguson book. I would suggest everybody to read Neil Ferguson in everything in history. So I will put like this as an author to follow. And Harari as well, the 21st century, the view that historical historian as well, that project a little bit what's happening in AI, ML, and the changes. I think those 3 books are amazing. And like movie-wise, I really like Stanley Kubrick, the director, right? I think he's a great guy. Tarantino somehow is, I get inspired of. And Coppola is someone that I really admire as well. So those are some of the artists that I like and some of the books that I praise, yeah.
What is the souvenir you're taking back home this trip from India?
God, the souvenirs, the smiles that I had and the connection that I got. I think that's going to be a great memory after 2 years. I think that's something really special.
Yeah, it's great to have you here after 2 years, Gabriel.
I always want to hug you. Me too. Very happy. Very happy.
So last question, how would you like to be remembered?
Honest.
Amazing.
That was awesome.
Yes.
That was awesome. And
Great.
what's interesting, Gabriel, is this is the second show in a row where we've asked the question in terms of the next country. And the answer was Japan. Yeah. There must be something about Japan that we all need to check out.
Yeah, I have to say my sister just moved to Japan, so I wanted to visit her there. But it's a country, I was in APAC, right, for 2 years, and I didn't have the chance to go to Japan, and I felt that I missed an opportunity. So now that she's there, I want to visit her in Japan.
Awesome. Gabriel, it's been 3 years since we've seen you, 2 years since our lives have been turned upside down, but just like one of the important cultural elements we have in ABI, resilience. I think the human spirit has shown the resilience. Here we are all back. Being able to do this was amazing to see you. So, folks, you asked for this. You asked for Smart Ops. Here's the Smart Ops guru. I hope you liked it. Please do put in your comments, send us your feedback, and stay tuned for the next show.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
Gabriel.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
Gabriel.
Appreciate it.